Win about
I mean,
like you wanted, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's about as good as it could be. You know, when you roll out, I thought the biggest thing, I mean, you talked about this morning, was our defense. How are we going to show up defensively? We just played 14 innings of error-free baseball, and that's going to be the thing. We've got some stuff on the mound. I think we've got enough offensively to do some things. It's just how are we going to grow defensively? You know, we overthrow the cut there in that first game, and one run, what should have been one run, turns into two, and it's those little things that we got to keep cleaning up and getting better. But we punched 22 and walked 6, and I think anytime you do that, you give yourself a pretty good shot. You know, so I thought we threw the ball really well. Thought we had really tough at bats, and you know, we ran out kind of in game one what we thought was our starting lineup if we played today. And you know, we had a conversation yesterday about some guys are going to love their role, some guys might not, and I thought, shoot, game 2 they might have been even better. You know, Hayslip has been working his tail off and hit 2 of the furthest balls I've seen in quite some time. You know, and just really happy. You know, I'm really happy for the guys and the way they went about their stuff. They've been working really hard, and for some of it to show up tonight and see some of the fruits of their work has been fun. So thought it was just a really complete effort, you know, for 14 innings, and that's not easy. And you know, Auburn's got a heck of a group, man. They're in week 2 of practice. I remember what we looked like in week 2 of practice, and so you know, they obviously had a couple missed fly balls, some things that are just going to be, the more you're out on the field, the cleaner that gets. But that's a good squad over there with some electricity on the mound. But I thought we did a really nice job tonight.
Well, usually, I mean, when you throw this many guys, usually you have some sort of issues. It gets away from somebody.
Sure.
But you did.
Sure.
So, I mean, I guess that was probably the key to the night, wasn't it?
No doubt. I mean, I'd be the first one to say, man, I think we got the best pitching coach in the country, you know, and to see what JJ does with these guys. I watch them on a day in and day out basis, and it's such an unbelievable blend of the analytics and the new stuff, but with some of the stuff that just doesn't change in pitching, attacking hitters, mentality, how they do things, and just to watch him work with those guys every day, it's I don't want to say it's not shocking, but that's what he does. I mean, he's got a heck of a staff together, and like you said, I mean, I think you look at Aiden Mosa from the start to Bobby Alcock at the end, and there's really not one guy you look up there. I mean, they had, you know, Banks had a couple walks in there, Buchanan had a couple walks in there, but we're both able to minimize, and you know, I don't know if there was much of a fall off there, and that's going to be really important, because you and I both know guys get banged up, guys are going to have their ups and downs, but to have some of the depth that we showed tonight is going to be huge for us.
Well, George caught my eye with those 3 digits up there.
It's in there, man. Like, that's what he's been sitting 98, 99 pretty consistently. And, you know, he was banged up last year. He had a little bit of an injury, didn't pitch a lot at Texas last year, and was kind of looking for a new home. We went out and saw him, and, I mean, there's some things you can teach and there's some things you can't. 100's hard to teach, you know. And what was more impressive to me than that, I've seen arm strength out of him, there's no doubt, but he was around the zone. He was landing his breaking ball. He was, I mean, and that fastball was firm. And when it's on the white at 100 with a good breaking ball, it's tough. And so I've been really proud of him too, man. That's a guy that's really worked hard at stuff, and he's very diligent. The way he goes about his business is very impressive. And again, it's a 1-inning stint, but to see him and to see him as well as some of these other guys be able to take what they've been working at, and when the lights come on, a different jersey on, be able to replicate that, is what's going to give these guys a chance to be pretty good.
You got anything?
Yeah, I just wanted to know the approach at the plate. Both games in the first inning, y'all got after it. I mean, 3 home runs the first game, and then really stayed consistently after it in the second game. What was your thoughts about the approach at the plate?
I thought they were relentless at the plate. You know, we really spend a whole lot of time on just swing decisions, you know, and making sure we take borderline pitches and don't miss pitches in the damage zone. And Hayslip's a perfect example of that. You know, Slip's a guy that's always had that kind of power. I mean, there's no doubt it's been in there, and was a really highly ranked guy, but would get himself out a lot just because he was willing to move on those pitches or make early decisions, and he's worked really, really hard at it. And very honestly, it hasn't even showed up fully in scrimmages too much. He's had some tough scrimmages, and I've pulled him to the side. I'm like, Cam, look at your stuff, man. Like, when they're going to dot up the black and they're going to move stuff in the shadow zone, it's tough. And you just got to be willing to understand over the course of a season, you being able to control that and then move on the ones in the damage zone is what it's going to be all about. And he was able to put it into play tonight. And that kid's such an unbelievable kid. So to see him come out and do that tonight was great. And I thought across the board, for the most part, we did a good job of kind of tipping our hat to them when they executed their pitch, but when they missed over the middle, we didn't miss it very often tonight. And you know, that's a sign of good offense. That's how you kind of stay going through that.
Obviously, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say one more thing. With Miller, you know, we talked about how he was your guy, and then he comes out and leads off the freaking night with a bomb.
Yeah, it's who he is, man. They call him 12 Gauge. That's his best nickname on the team. It's awesome. There's thunder in there, man. There's thunder. I told you, Josh McDonald told me that's going to be your favorite player, and he just brings it. It's I don't want to comp him. This guy's a big league all-star, but it's the Kyle Schwarber type thing at the plate. He's not the best runner. He's not going to awe you with that stuff. But goodness gracious, that guy can set you off with a bang. But what he does, and what's impressive to me, is it's not an auto swing. It's not this guy that just swings out of hand and does that dude. I feel super comfortable green lighting him 3-0 because I trust him. If the ball's over the white and it's flat, he's going to move on it. If it's a borderline pitch something he doesn't like, he's going to spit on it. And he did. He set the tone tonight. And then Ian coming back and that first inning was fun. I think we expended a little more energy than maybe I would have liked in the first. Like this dugout was shaking, which was awesome and fun. But that's what I told him. I said, against really good teams, man, you have a good first, that's great, but we can't string 6 zeros after that. We got to find a way to punch through and do some stuff there. And some of that was a credit to the way those guys were throwing on the mound tonight. But yeah, Gage was awesome. He sets the tone, man. That guy's he's gritty, he's tough. That's my kind of dude.
Yeah. What are you going to do? What's going to be the message, and how are you going to build off it for the next matchup against Florida State?
Well, I told him. I said, we get nothing on our record for beating Auburn on October 13th. And we've talked a lot. Like one of our things we talk a lot about is staying neutral. That's kind of our mindset. Like whether things are going bad, man, get back to neutral. If things are going well, and shoot, that's a Coach Saban thing across the street. You've heard him talk about that. And I just told him, I said, we were very good tonight, but there was plenty of areas we can get better, and there's plenty of areas we can grow. And this league is going to be a bear because everybody's good. And one day off, you start thinking you got this game figured out. My guys have heard me say this a lot. There's two types of people: those who are humble and those who are about to be. And it's going to be about they'll get a couple days now, Saturday, Sunday, have that off, and we got to come back and go back to work on Monday. Florida State's super talented, but before we even get there, we got to go run off 3 good scrimmages next week. Like this group is a long way away from a finished product, which is exciting. But we just got to keep our mind right and stay hungry and keep working.
Good stuff.
Thanks, Coach. Thanks for your time.
Congratulations.
Thanks, buddy.